Hey guys, this is Captain Frugal for my weekly comic book review for March 22nd, 2023. All right, all of you that are new to the channel, because we have been getting some new subscribers, I want to say thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the team, the Frugal Force, if you will, and supporting the channel. If you hear this, that's my notes, because I have notes, because I can't keep everything in my memory. I can't do that. You might even hear some clicks, because I use a website to help provide additional information. So anyway, I give my top and bottom 3 comics, as well as all the ones in between. Now, I don't have time to read everything, but I do get in there what I can. Time and money is precious, and I can only do so many, and on top of that, I rate them with a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the absolute best humanly possible. 7 would be average, because like a 70%, because some people don't understand that I use school rules. All right, so here we go. We're going to start today. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with my top. Yeah, we're going to go right with the ones to get. So yep, I'm turning my notes here. You ready? For my number 3 of the ones to read. Yeah, my number 3. Hey, don't laugh now. I haven't said anything funny yet. His World's Finest, number 13. I gave it a 7.5. I'm going to use the League of Comic Geeks as well to provide additional information. They had 165 out of 174 people liked it. That means a lot of people are probably reading this, giving it a 4.3 average rating out of 5 stars, which puts I think mine pretty much there. Anyway, where in the world is Metamorpho? That's what we're trying to find out this issue with Batman and Superman as they investigate Metamorpho, because did he commit murder? Well, only way to find out is to read. Writer is Mark Waid, the artist is Dan Mora, and I think it's a good team, doing good. I'm not a big fan of Mark Waid, but I am enjoying this issue. I really is. I think the art overall has been pretty good. Yeah, pretty good art in this series, with this issue as well, I might say. Not the best, but good enough. Solid anyway. Solid story setup as well. I'm enjoying this story setup for the story arc. And it's you know what? It's nice seeing more of characters like Metamorpho. I think characters like this just tend to not get enough spotlight. We had the Terrifics not too long ago. Well, actually, I guess it's been a while now that I enjoyed that series. It was nice to see those characters get a little bit more representation in the DC universe. Why not? Let's get something good out of these characters. Let's get some more from them. They deserve more. And the cover's classic, pretty classic kind of style cover for this. I don't know about you. I read a good chunk of World's Finest comic books back in the day. Yeah, like the 12-cent cover issues and things like that. Have you ever read any of those? I'm curious to see if you've ever read any classic World's Finest, or is this your first foray into this series? All right, my next one. I don't think this is going to come as too big of a surprise to you. I've really been enjoying this series. I enjoy this character, and I think this character needs more representation. Once again, I'm sounding like a broken record here. They need to be represented more in the DC universe. I really think so. So anyway, my number 2 is Stargirl, the Lost Children issue number 5. I gave this, you ready? A 7.9. Yeah, Stargirl issue, Lost Children issue number 5 is 7.9. Let me get to my notes and see all everything I wrote here. The kids are coming. The kids are causing trouble in this issue. I'm not going to give much of the plot away in this or anything. It's good art. It's a fun story. And there's only one issue left in this miniseries. So if you haven't been reading it, I think this might be a good one to get in trade, unless you want to go out and get the single floppies. Definitely don't miss out. Once again, Stargirl, The Lost Children, number 5. Are we ready for our number 1? Are we? Are we ready? Here we go. We're going to do it. We're going to hit it. Number 1. And this one has been really good, in my opinion. This is one that I think Marvel needs to pay attention to. And I think more people, if you haven't been reading it, need to pay attention to. And this is none other than Joe Fixit number 3. Yeah, Joe Fixit number 3, which might have the highest score I've ever given to one of these comic books that I have reviewed. Yeah, are you ready? 9.5. Yeah, a 9.5. 20 out of 20 liked it with a 4.2 average rating. With that number only 20 out of 20 liking it on League of Comics Geeks makes me think that not enough people are picking up this series. Seriously, if you haven't been checking out, fix that mistake. This is good. Peter David's mastery of the all different layers of Hulk are in full force as Bruce Banner takes on himself. It's Joe Fixit versus the Hulk versus Bruce Banner with Spider-Man trying to keep it all from imploding. Peter David's the writer, artist is Yildiray Senior. I butchered that. Don't even try to pretend I knew what I was saying in there for his name. Okay, complete butchery, not on purpose, no ill intent there whatsoever. Anyway, this is a great Hulk Spider-Man team-up moment in this issue. They have a couple panels that are just off the wall, amazing against the Absorbing Man. Definitely amazing, masterful writing of the Hulk. Good art, many great panels in this issue. Yes, excellent writing. This is a must-read series. Please, 9.5. Really, this should be the flagship Hulk series, not the one we have been getting. I mean, really, this is the good stuff. More people, please check out this series. All right, with that said, let's go to my bottom, and then we're going to go to the middle. But you know what? Before we do that, I want to take a moment to thank these people here. Yes, check them out. Thank them. They help support the channel through Patreon and Subscribestar. And without them, really, this wouldn't be possible. So thank these people. They truly deserve it. And I want to say, I'm going to thank them too as well. Thank you. And if anybody else wants to help this channel, we greatly appreciate it. With that said, now when I hit the bottom, I just want to let you know I might butt hurt some people here, okay? You could have different thoughts than me, and that's all right too. You are allowed to have different thoughts and feelings on issues. Let me know in the chat. Just please do it in a civil manner. If you come at me like a jerk, I will probably respond in such. But if you come at me nicely and share your thoughts, I am more than happy to hear them. And, you know, I've had them. I've had some over Robin. You know, I'll get on a little Robin rant before the end of this video. So stick to the end here. I want to announce something about Tim Drake Robin in my rant on it as well. So anyway, the bottom three. Number 3 was Black Adam number 9 with a 6.8. 16 out of 17 people liked it, so not a lot of people are probably getting into it. But they gave it a 4.1 rating, where I gave it a 6.8. I'm harder on it than they are. Fall, The House of Adam, East of Egypt book number 2, written by Christopher Priest, which saddens me because I usually like Christopher Priest's work. This I don't. The Eddie Barrows is the penciler, and his art has been pretty good on that. I can't really complain too much in that. So anyway, this is issue 9 out of 12. It's an interesting, it's an interesting cover. I do like the cover. The art's okay throughout the issue. It's just the issue's pacing is way too slow. This is a 12-issue series that probably should have been written in 8 issues. That's my opinion there. I'd like to know if you're reading this, what are your thoughts on that? Am I being too hard on Black Adam and the series as a whole? I really wanted to like this series, but it's been tough. All right, now this next one, I'm not going to lie. This next one, if anybody watches it out of spite or thinking I'm going to say something mean, is probably going to be all mad at me and butthurt over this. My number 2 at the bottom is Women of Marvel, number 1. I gave it a 6.7. 14 out of 15 liked it, though, on League of Comic Geeks. That's still not a high number of people reading it. And they gave it, though, a 3.8 rating. So think about that. 3.8, that's still higher than what I gave it. And it's just not good. There's a lot of different writers in here. Okay, so you'll definitely want to... I'm not going to read all those out, but you want to look into them. The art is a mixed bag on this issue. The stories are nothing with much depth. The one with the most depth, we probably have our portal puncher, American Chavez. That's probably the story with the most depth. The rest are really just throwaway jokes. Now, here's the thing. Here's my rant on this. I want everybody to really think about this. If we really want our female superheroes to be treated as equals to the men, start writing them that way. Quit making throwaway garbage stories like this. Yes, women and men are different. I get that. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. My little girl, loves superheroes. You know what her favorite superhero is? Thor. She doesn't have to have them look like her. She doesn't have to have them be a girl even. They don't have to be best buds, best friends, girl besties. They have to be superheroes. If you want them to be treated like male superheroes equal, then treat them like male superheroes. Yes, they can have their quirks and the femininity and everything. Absolutely. Please don't lose that. But don't boil them down to female stereotypes. It's sad. What was the point of this issue? It was completely silly courtroom banter as well. And I mean really bad, terribly bad courtroom banter. I deducted points for that. And then when you look at the writers, you look at the staff spotlight page. This was a safe space pronoun squad. Yes, the safe space pronoun squad. If you look at, they all had to have their pronouns there. You look and you wonder why it was so bad, but you look at all these writers seem like they were more driven by agenda than actually writing something good. It was all about, well, I'm a woman writing comics. I'm a woman in the comic industry. If you want to be a person, just be a person. I don't go to the work and say, I'm a guy in this industry. No. Just be a person in that industry. Quit segregating yourselves. You made this bad. You took a great opportunity and you crapped all over it. I mean, this one was junk. All right. Now for the bad one. The worst one. Yeah, even worse than Women of Marvel #1. My #1 for the bad one of the week. Are we ready? Let's shoot this sucker. Yeah, it's bad. My #1 for the bad one of the week was Amazing Spider-Man number 22. Yes, you heard me right. Amazing Spider-Man number 22 with a score of a 6.5. Wow, has this not been good? Zeb Wells has been dropping the ball on this ever since he's been touching it. John Romita Jr., I don't really care for his art in this issue either. Who is the mysterious figure, and what do they have to do with Peter and Mary Jane's disappearances? I don't care. This story sucks. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. This whole run has not been good. It is really Spider-Man. The Spider-Man team needs to step this up. We need a new Spider-Man team, period. Let's be honest about that. This is just bad. This series needs a new team. This is just a bad story. Lame villain, convoluted mess. Marvel just does everything it can to help keep Peter and MJ apart, showing that it seems like they just don't like couples. They can't stand couples. People being together with real lives. You think I'm alone? Only 55 out of 92 liked it on this League of Comics Geeks. A 3 average rating. This is a Spider-Man book. This is your flagship character and only a 3 rating. That's a 50% and half out of a 5-star. Almost. A little bit more than that. But, like a little bit better than that. This is a D. This is a D score. Okay, and it's been consistently bad like this. Marvel, step it up. This story is trash. It really is a convoluted mess. We went out of one convoluted mess to another. Just not good. All right, now let's go to the middle. The ones that weren't as bad, but they didn't really measure up great either. And my first one is Nightwing number 102. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's nice to see the Titans. And the art's okay. The story was okay. The secondary story was also okay. It was actually nice seeing this issue. It was a nice cast. It was nice. Yeah, the second one was pretty nice. Anyway, this is Night at the Circus, part 2. 120 out of 131 liked it with a 3.7 average rating. I could see why. Yeah, Nightwing is a great leader. Not just because Batman trained him, or because how Alfred raised him, or even because he has a heart of gold. It's because of his friends. And now that the Titans are in Bloodhaven with them, they can leap into the light together, which is perfect timing for the Demon of Darkness, Neron, to do something about it. Yeah, it's nothing. As I said, it's a 7. It's an average book, not the best on anything. Okay? But, it was not too bad. Interesting. I'm going to keep reading this one and hoping maybe it'll get a little bit better, but it wasn't anything offensive, that's for sure. My next one is Superman issue number 2, which I gave a 7.1. I thought the Superman zombie story is really what this is. It's another zombie story. I don't mind zombie stories. The art style is okay. Actually, kind of like it. I don't know. I'm in a mix. At first I didn't like it, and they started growing on me, and I think I like it. I'm still not a fan of the new uniforms, though, and the Superman team. So anyway, Superman is overwhelmed as Parasite's new powers are unleashed. Can Superman stop all of Metropolis from being consumed by the power-hungry Parasite? Or will he need Lex Luthor's help to save the day? Pretty interesting. 203 out of 210 liked it, with a 4.3 average rating. That means this book is so far selling. Let's see if it can keep up, because usually what happens is you get a big spike the first issue, and then if the story is compelling enough, it holds enough people, you'll see second issue do good. And then if that continues, you'll see it through the first story arc. And then if the second arc continues to do well, you've got a series with some legs. If that story arc drops off, it means then that people are interested maybe for collecting for issue number 1, first of all. And then the story was enough to keep them, but then the story faltered to keep them. So we're going to see what happens there with Superman. I hope it does well. We'll see how it continues to go. My next one. Let me go to my page of notes here. I covered that one. Oh, here we go. Sorry for the delay here. What can I say? I have fun doing these. I just try to make it more like a conversational tone. It was DC's War of the Undead Gods number 7. I gave it a 7.02. 46 out of 52 like this one. Yeah, they give a 3.9 average rating. You know, the different art styles throughout are sort of jarring to me on this. Takes away from the story a little bit, but it is action and good action story-filled issue. Let's see if we can get a good ending though on this one. Let's see if they can stick the ending. This says some of the most powerful entities in existence are now slaves to the anti-life. Undead darkside forces have spread the virus across whole galaxies. Even Kryptonians and the Flashes may be too slow in the race to cure worlds before everything is overwhelmed. The final stand for the universe begins. And I will say, I like the ending here. Tom Taylor, I think, did a good ending on this issue, but let's see if it can continue to be good. We'll see on how that pans out. I don't know. I'm not a huge Tom Taylor fan. I have a feeling they could falter on the ending, but maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I want this to be good. So, all right, we're at the next one. This one surprised me. It almost made the top. Some of you are probably going, where did this go? Why, you couldn't have read this then if it's not in the top. But I tell you, it came really close. And that was a Flash issue 795 with a 7.4. Yeah, the number 3 was a 7.5, by the way. 7.4. It is sad that the writer is getting taken off of this series. Jeremy Adams, I think he should be able to stay on Flash for a lot longer if he continues to do work like this. Now, the art could be better in this issue. That's one of the falters I have of this issue. The story, though, continues to be good. And what will happen to Wally? Well, 113 out of 116 liked this with a 4.1 average rating, which I think shows the Flash continues to carry. Maybe that's why they're moving this writer to another title to see if he can bring up that book too. We'll see. But the Flash family retreats, mourning the loss of their family members while Barry tries to find a way to stop the fraction once and for all. Surprises abound as the past is revisited and we hurtle towards the end of the 1 Minute War. I'm really enjoying this. I like how you realize sometimes there's going to be casualties. And the casualty in this one, well, I want you to read for it for yourself. But then we find out maybe they're not really a casualty. We just don't know what's going to happen next in their chapter of their story. You know, this has been an interesting week with a lot of ups and downs, but the next one, I've been enjoying this one. This is a character that's had a lot of ups and downs in her career in the comic books as well, and I think has never really been given a fair shot. A character that I've liked for many years. I've been a fan of the character probably because her run in the Avengers. Have you been able to figure out what character I'm talking about? Take a guess. Put it in the chat before I tell you here. Pause the video. Type it in the chat. Don't cheat. What character am I talking about that I've been a fan since Avengers? I don't think she's been given enough time. She's had a lot of ups and downs with her character. All right, here we go. You ready? You can't even have the same name and keep it long. That's Monica Rambeau, issue number 4. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. Monica Rambeau Photon, issue number 4, where I gave it a 7.2. I think it's a good cover. It's an interesting story. Nice characterization in this for Monica. But why did Monica get done so bad by Marvel? I mean, really? Year over year, she's been sidelined, not used, name changed, given to somebody else. Why did they have to retcon her backstory in this too? That's one thing I don't like. I don't like backstory retcons. Not a big fan. You can add to the lore, but don't take away and change. I'm not a big fan of how they're retconning her here. If you catch it, they did it a little bit subtly about how she got her powers. Really, that opens up a whole loophole and makes no sense in her story. So I did deduct some points for that. 16 out of 17 liked it with a 3.7 average, which is telling me that this book isn't selling. Sadly, this book is not selling. This character deserves better. With nowhere left to turn and the universe crumbling around her, Monica must look to an unexpected source to find answers. Or life as she knows it will be gone forever. And as the journey continues, so does the revelations about Monica's past, for better or for worse. Eve L. Ewing is writing it. Fine. Artist is Luca Marska. Sorry, I butchered names. I will say I'm not a big fan of how they're drawing the Beyonder in this at all. But really, I am a little bit interested in the story and where it's going to go. I'm once again, please treat this character better, Marvel. She deserves a lot better than what you're doing. All right, my next one, Punisher number 10, 7.01. Now, obviously, the League of Comics Geeks people are giving it a different view. They said 29 out of 30 liked it with a 4.4 average. So they're giving it a higher score than me. But look at that. Only 29 out of 30, which tends to lead me to believe this book isn't selling well. And the part of the reason is probably people don't like the direction of this character because they're checking up and looking at reviews and things. And I get that because, as I said, I only gave it a 7.01. It's got good art. It's got good action. But I do not like Marvel messing around with Frank's past. I think they're doing Frank Castle dirty, and I'm pretty sure we know why. They're doing this to make a statement. They didn't like the audience that liked Punisher, and therefore, the audience isn't buying this book. The majority of them can't be, with only 29 out of 30 here. Come on, that's low number. So if that amount of people reviewed it, very few people are probably actually picking this up and reading it. This would be so much better. This story, I will tell you right now, I think could be written without destroying Frank Castle as a character. But they're doing that in this story. They have been consistently ruining this character. This could be so much better if they would leave his background history alone. Anyway, The Killing of Killers, Book 2, Chapter 4, Bride of the Punisher. At last, the fist of the beast has finally risen, and the full power of the new Punisher is unleashed upon the world. It's a bad day to be a bad guy. Yeah, because Frank does do some major damage in this issue. Frank's wife, Maria, uncovers more dark secrets from the past, including more missing pieces of the Punisher's origin. Once again, quit screwing with his origin. But I will say, otherwise, it's pretty cool. And at the end, Punisher's about to throw down with a lot of our superheroes. So if you're a Captain America fan, Moon Knight, and some other Avengers like Black Widow and things, you might want to check out the next issue of Punisher. Jason Aaron is writing it in that respect pretty good. As I said, though, quit screwing with the background of Frank Castle. And the art's by Paul Azenta, which, again, I butcher that. There are a lot of positives there, but if they could only keep their dirty little fingers out of things and quit trying to shove in agendas at Marvel, this could have had potential to not be a decent book, but could have been a great book. But they keep having to go that extra mile to screw it up. So now let's talk about my next one. This was a bit of a surprise to me. That was She-Hulk issue number 11. She-Hulk has been pretty much ho-hum all the way through. I gave this a 7.04. Looking at the League of Comics Geeks there, 40 out of 43 liked it with a 4.2 average rating. So think about it. That's higher people reporting on that than the Punisher. For a She-Hulk book. Could it be because of the popularity of the show? Oh, wait, that show failed pretty hard, didn't it? Of course, there was a lot of fighting there because they keep using this, once again, the agenda pumping there. Maybe they need to learn a lesson. But I will say, this story had pretty good art. The cover is pretty good, too. It's a fun issue. Finally, some action in the series. This series, though, has been lacking in the action. Once again, people are like, well, it's not for you. This is written for girls. My little girl likes action. Just for the record, likes action. If you have a little girl, too, teenager, younger, or even early 20s, do you like action in your comic books? Are you wanting just to read about a couple talking constantly? Let me know. I like a mix. Don't get me wrong. I like characterization, deep conversations, things, but my books need some action too. I want to know, what do your kids think? My little girl loves the action side too. Fun issue, as I said. We need to see more Luke and Danny though. I never really thought of Luke and Danny making a good pair of two guys to be in a series as a background characters for a character like She-Hulk. But you know what? I think it's great. The more Luke and Danny we get, the happier I am, to be honest with you. I want my Danny Rand to be Iron Fist again. I want some Power Man Iron Fist comic books, doggone. Luke Cage, come on. I know he's mayor. That's great. Let's get some Danny in there too. Let's see these characters more. The more of them, the better, as long as they're written well. So overall, not too bad. But I'm not done. By the way, this is a new story arc too. So if you have not been reading She-Hulk, this might be the time to give it a shot. A new villain starts a thriving spree through New York City and ends up face to face with Jennifer Walters, the sensational She-Hulk. Also, have you noticed that this is Legacy issue 174? So you know they're going to line up something, probably an extra size issue or something coming up for 175. And if she makes it to 200, it'll be amazing because they can't seem to carry these books that long. Speaking of which, if you weren't aware, Captain Marvel is going to be ending Yeah, not a big surprise, but I will say this for all those people, I thought this was probably the best Captain Marvel we've had in a while. Yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect or even great, but this is the best Captain Marvel series we've had for quite a while. The granted still didn't make as very long, like 50 issues. It's not as good as the original, probably second run, actually, I should say, or even the original run, but it's better than some of the crap we've been getting. But I said this before, and I'll say it again. You know the comic book was struggling when they start throwing in characters to try to help pump up sales. Some people, oh, that's not true. Yeah, they do that. Trust me, they do that. Watch it. Look at any comic book series. Look at when they were dipping. They start throwing in guest stars. Sometimes you see costume changes and things like that. You usually see that kind of thing. So sort of the writing was on the wall. My next one was Wasp number 3. 19 out of 23 people liked it with a 3.7 rating. Who made the Wasps? Captured by the Alliance, the oldest enemies, Janet and Nadia Van Dyne, find themselves trapped in the past, where a key part of their history, Henry Pym, the Ant-Man, never existed at all. As strange new lives play out around them, they must find their way back to the Wasp, or cease to exist entirely. Al Ewing is the writer. Kasaya, I'm not even going to try the artist. I apologize. I'm going to butcher that. Did the art. I thought it was decent art, but it's a slow-paced issue. It really could have had a better pacing. It would have been a lot better. It was really just decent, so I gave it a 7.03 because that's it. It was decent. And that's sometimes where you run into a problem. If you're going to write a book, especially about a character that doesn't get her own title or his own title very often, you better knock it out of the ballpark. You really need to, because just giving them a ho-hum decent book is never really going to attract that many readers. Now, before I'm done here, I do want to go on one quick rant. So please pardon me on this rant. If you haven't noticed, I put out a message recently that Batgirls and Tim Drake Robin have both been canceled. Yep, Tim Drake Robin's last issue is number 10, and there's why I want to do a rant about this. I want you to realize how bad this is. Okay, everybody? How bad Tim Drake is. Comic book characters are more popular than ever. Tim Drake should be more popular than ever right now. The original series went around 183 issues long. Think about that. The new one's going to get canceled at issue 10. This proves that, this proves or helps add to it that Tim Drake had a fan base to go 183 issues. Had it. But what happened to that fan base? DC did Tim Drake so wrong by changing his character, he can't even have a run that goes for 10 issues. Where were the Tim Drake fans? You drove them away, DC. And then why? You want to point the finger and blame at them. You can't just change a character that drastically. Really, with no merit. It made no sense because any of the original comic fans that read the issues in the past can see that this was all forced reasoning. Tim Drake's boyfriend was not gay or bisexual, and neither was Tim Drake. That was a big part. People don't mind bisexual or gay characters if that's how they're written. But don't take characters and make fundamental changes to them, destroying their relationships that they've had in the past as well, like his with Stephanie Brown, which was an amazing relationship. Don't do it for shock value or for your lack of writing skills to be able to write the character in a good way. You have done a great disservice to this character, DC, and I think you're paying the price for it. People said, we don't want this crap. Once again, not necessarily because he's gay. It's because you changed the character and made him out to be something he wasn't. And that drove the original fan base for the character away. They didn't want to buy it. You need to think about that. Once again, not an anti-gay thing. If you want gay characters, write good gay characters. Please do. No problem with that. But don't change pre-existing ones just to fit your sales narratives. It's clearly not working. But that's my rant. Go ahead and tell me your thoughts on that, please. Once again, please refrain from mean insults and things like that. If you have thoughts like that you think I'm so terrible, please make sure you back it up rather than just calling me slurs, because otherwise I'm just going to laugh at your stupidity. But if you have good, real reasons, I am more than happy to listen. Heck, you might even find a way to change my mind. All right, everybody, thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate you spending this time with me. I hope you all take care. And as I always do, or almost always do, I like to say, keep it